Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you guys how I fry chicken breasts for fried chicken breast sandwiches. Okay, I posted this on my Cooking with Queenie Instagram. I'll post a little picture here. You can follow me there if you like. Alright, to start off the tutorial, I'm only using 2 chicken breasts today. And I'm going to get at least 2 or 3, let's say, quote unquote, patties from each chicken breast, okay? Chicken breasts by themselves are pretty large, and I personally wouldn't want an entire chicken breast in a sandwich. That's just way too much. Okay, so we're going to section this off in about 2 to 3 portions for sandwiches. If you don't want to make a sandwich and you're trying to just make a fried chicken breast, you can just leave it as is, but you're going to have to fry this for a longer period of time with maybe a little bit more oil, okay? But today I'm just frying the chicken specifically for fried chicken breast sandwiches. There's also a recipe for the buns that were used to make these sandwiches. Check the previous video before this one. Also, if you guys have any negative comments, I suggest you keep them to yourself. I will block you. I'm just not in that mental space anymore where I just allow people to come on my channel with their negativity. If you have nothing nice to say, just hit the dislike button and move on with your life. Okay? Okay. So here we're going to take off all the fat. You can clean your chicken however you see fit. I clean my chicken with vinegar and cold water, but you do as you please, okay? So yeah, we're going to section the chicken off and we're going to try to create like, well, it doesn't have to be a perfect patty, okay? We're not going for a perfect patty. We're going for some portions that will fit nicely on a bun. Even if they stick out a bit, that's okay. That's fine. So now we're going to season our chicken, and I don't really measure when I cook, so I'm just going to average. I have about 2 chicken breasts, which average about, I want to say 3 to 4 pounds, and I put in about 1 teaspoon kosher salt. You season depending on what you like, okay? But I started off with kosher salt, white pepper, paprika, and about a half teaspoon of each one of these, maybe a little bit less because I'm kind of just shaking it on there. So I'm just averaging. And then we're going to go in with some ground black pepper. So the first one was kosher salt, white pepper, black pepper, paprika, and now we're going to do our garlic powder and onion powder. And remember, you can season this depending on how much of each one of these items you like, okay? You don't have to do it exactly how I do it. I'm just showing you how I do it, all right? I'm also going to add in some adobo. If you're not really good at mixing spices or you don't have all of these other things, just use some adobo, paprika, and some black pepper and this Texas Pete hot sauce, and you'll be good to go. I used my pepper grinder. I love my pepper grinder. I'll say about 1.5 teaspoons of Texas Pete hot sauce. Okay. And then I'm going to go in and add just the egg white of an egg. Okay. The reason why we're just doing the egg white is because when you add the yolk, it makes the crust too soggy. And I ended up using this extra yolk for the bread egg wash that goes with this sandwich. So if you guys are interested on how to make your own brioche buns at home, please check the previous video. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and mix this. You can use a spoon if you like. I prefer to use my hands. I just feel as though I really get the seasoning in there. And yes, my hands are washed, nails are clipped, and all that good stuff. And I am in my home. I am not working in some restaurant somewhere, because I know some of you guys like to leave very smart comments down there. And not meaning that you are smart, you just want to be funny and shady. So just so you know, I am at home. And my hands are washed a gazillion times. That's why they're so dry. Gosh. For the breading, we're going to use 2 cups of self-rising flour. And we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, okay? You can use any brand of cornstarch that you want, and we're going to season the flour with pretty much the same things we use to season the chicken. So adobo, salt, pepper, paprika powder, garlic powder, and onion powder. And again, you can adjust the seasonings for your liking. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and mix it around. I wanted some more black pepper, so I went in with my pepper grinder. I love my pepper grinder. It's like my favorite thing, and add just a bit more of that. I love how coarse it is. I love when I bite into food and I get those little pops of just a little heat. It's not even real heat, it's just a little pepper. It's not that serious. And we're also going to add just a tiny bit of cumin, about, I'll say, a fourth of a teaspoon to this, and mix it together. It does make a difference. All right, so if you don't need a whole bunch of cumin, go buy the cheap one from DG store. All right, so I wanted to give you guys a treat and show you how I make my mango lemonade. So I used 1 cup of organic lemon juice and 1 cup of mango nectar, and filled it all up with bottled spring water. You can use what do they call that water? I forgot what they call it. Purified water. Just try not to use tap water that has like chlorine or whatever chemical in it. It's going to taste a little funny. Okay, and about 1 cup of white sugar. If you are watching your weight, your waist, your anything, you can adjust the recipe to fit your lifestyle and your taste buds right now. But this is a treat, okay? This is not an everyday thing that we drink all day. It's just too much sugar to consume all at once. I'm also going to slice up some lemons and put it in there to garnish. And then, while we pour our glasses, have one of the lemons slip in the glass and live our best life, okay? This goes very well with the fried chicken sandwich. So yeah, that's how I make my mango lemonade. Really, really easy. You can add some other things in here. You can add some pineapple juice. You can add whatever it is you like, okay? So I have my tray ready. My oil is in my cast iron. If you don't have a cast iron pan, that's okay. You can use a stainless steel frying pan or whatever kind of frying pan you have available. Just make sure that the oil in your pan is at least about 1.5 inches, like, I guess, depth. I'm just, you want it nice and deep. You don't want your oil too shallow. You want a good amount of oil in there, okay? And I'm using Mazola corn oil to fry chicken today. Again, use whatever it is you use regularly to fry chicken. I'm just showing you what I use, okay? So I used a fork to kind of cover the chicken. I didn't want to get too much of the wet chicken on my hand, but then ended up putting my hand right in there. So what I do is kind of cover the chicken with flour so my hands don't end up being too covered in flour and wetness and creating that like clumpiness. So cover it. If you want a nice crispy crust, I suggest when you flour your chicken, let it sit in the flour for about 10-20 minutes, put it in the fridge, and then take it out and then fry it, okay? The crust will be much firmer and much crispier. As far as your heat, try your best not to raise the heat up too high in the beginning part of heating your oil. I know it's tempting. I know some of you guys get very impatient and you want your oil just to heat up really, really fast. But guess what? It's just not going to be beneficial. In the end, what's going to happen is your oil is going to be too hot. The outside of your chicken is going to get brown really fast. You're going to assume it's cooked. Flip it. It's going to get brown. Cut it, and it's still got a pulse. Okay? So leave your stove alone, put it on medium, even medium low, but I suggest medium depending on your burner size. The burner size I'm using is about 4 inches in diameter, and it is on medium heat, okay? And that was a tad bit too high for me, so try to keep it on medium. Don't be tempted to raise your heat, okay? Don't be tempted to do that. I fried the chicken about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Okay, so remember, don't be tempted to raise that fire up to heat up your oil really fast. Just start your pan early. While you're flouring your chicken, put your pan on the, before you even start that, put your pan on the stove, put your oil in there, put it on medium heat, let it get up to temperature slowly on its own, okay? One thing about fried chicken, you can't rush it, okay? In South America, in Suriname, where I'm from, in Guyana, places like that, we don't generally fry chicken with a floured crust. We fry it without a crust. You can get chicken with a crust at some fried chicken places, but at home we do not fry chicken with a crust, okay? So it did take some time for me to teach myself how to make, I guess, American style fried chicken with a flour crust. My first few times were awful, terrible. Okay, but it took some time, and here we are. Make sure also that you have about an inch or inch and a half of space between all your pieces. You notice I keep them separated and I move them around. I also just showed you that piece of chicken so you could see how it's fully cooked on the inside, still juicy, not overcooked and not dry. Okay, so keep space in between them. Don't be tempted to raise the heat on your stove. 5 minutes on each side. Okay, medium heat. 5 minutes on each side. I don't think I mentioned this, but the thickness of each piece of chicken is about an inch and a quarter to an inch and a half. All right, but yeah, once you take your chicken out of the grease or the oil, let it go on the rack so the oil can drip off. This will keep your chicken nice and crispy. You can go ahead and assemble your chicken sandwich. To make a spicy mayo, I just mix a bit of hot sauce and mayo and a couple other spices together to give it just a little bit of a kick, and put lettuce, tomato, and cheese on my chicken sandwich. Okay, if you guys want to know how I made the buns for this sandwich, these are my homemade brioche buns. Make sure you check the link down below, or there is a clickable video link right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all very soon in another video. Bye guys.